Is the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State unconstitutional, a misinterpretation of the Constitution, or simply an abuse of power? Which way, Nigeria? Hello, everyone. I'm your girl, Lady Rain, and today we'll be discussing the issue surrounding the suspension of the Governor of Rivers State, Governor Fubara, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, including the Minister of Abuja, former Governor Nyesom Wike. As you may be aware, the political landscape in Rivers State has experienced significant turbulence involving Governor Fubara and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I would like to talk you through the timeline detailing the key events before I would dive into the main issue. Now, on or around October 29th, 2023, a section of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex was set ablaze by suspected arsonists, coinciding with the impending impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara. On or around the 30th of October 2023, lawmakers aligned with former Governor Nyesom Wike initiated impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara. On or around October 31st, 2023, President Bola Tinubu mediated a meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja between Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike to address the political rift between the two of them. Despite his intervention, tensions between these two persisted. On or around December 18th, 2023, Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike signed a peace agreement during a meeting convened by President Tinubu at the presidential villa, aiming to resolve their differences. On or around December 20th, 2023, following the peace deal the two of them signed, the Rivers State House of Assembly withdrew the impeachment notice against Governor Fubara. On or around December 31st, factional speaker Edison Ehie, who led a 4-member assembly supporting Governor Fubara, resigned from his position. On or around January 4th, 2024, Edison Ehie withdrew a contempt suit against pro-Wike lawmakers, indicating a potential de-escalation of the political crisis. On or around January 17th, 2024, the Rivers State House of Assembly reconfirmed 9 commissioners who had previously resigned amid the power tussle between Governor Fubara and Minister Nyesom Wike. On or around March 18th, 2025, President Tinubu, to what was a shock to the whole nation, declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, citing prolonged political instability and governance paralysis. This declaration resulted in the suspension of Governor Fubara, his deputy, Governor Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly for an initial period of 6 months. He then appointed retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas as the sole administrator of Rivers State to start with immediate effect. On or around March 19, 2025, in response to this suspension of Governor Fubara, he issued a statement emphasizing his commitment to peace and stability in Rivers State. He highlighted efforts he has made and the efforts made by his administration to comply with the Supreme Court's judgment and to foster unity. He expressed regret that these efforts were never met with open hand. Rather, his efforts met resistance from the State House of Assembly. On around March 21st, 2025, Governor Fubara denied allegations from the federal government accusing him of instigating attacks on oil pipelines. He asserted that his administration had consistently prioritized the protection of oil installations and urged security agencies to focus on the actual perpetrators. On or around March 23rd, 2025, Governor Fubara made his first public appearance since his suspension by attending a church service at the headquarters of Salvation Ministries in Port Harcourt. On or around March 27th, 2025, 7 state governments led by governors from the opposition, People Democratic Party (PDP), filed a lawsuit against President Tinubu at the Supreme Court. The suit challenges the constitutionality of the state of emergency declaration and the suspension of elected officials in Rivers State. Now, this sequence of events underscores the ongoing political tensions and the legal challenges surrounding the governance of Rivers State. I would also like to mention at this point that there are other individuals who filed lawsuits against President Tinubu regarding this Governor Fubara's suspension. Now, let's talk about the Constitution. Let me enlighten you a little bit on what the Constitution says. The 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, outlines specific conditions and procedures for declaring a state of emergency, but it does not give the president the power to suspend a sitting governor under normal circumstances. Now, let me give you a breakdown of what the Constitution says. On declaring a state of emergency, Section 305, subsection 1 to 6, it states that the president has the power to issue a proclamation of a state of emergency only under certain conditions, such as 305.3, if the country is at war. Pay attention. If Nigeria is in imminent danger of invasion or involvement in a state of war, or if there is a breakdown of public order and public safety in the federation or any part thereof, or if there is a clear and present danger of such breakdown, or if there is a natural disaster or calamity affecting a community. However, there is a catch. Now, pay attention to the catch. Section 305, subsection 2, states that the president must consult with the Council of State before proclaiming a state of emergency. 305, subsection 6, states the National Assembly must approve the proclamation within 2 days if they are in session. If not in session, within 10 days. Pay attention. The proclamation lasts for 6 months, and extensions must also be approved by the National Assembly. Now, on suspending a sitting governor, the Nigerian Constitution does not permit the president to unilaterally suspend or remove an elected governor. There are only two constitutional paths to remove a governor. And here are those. One, through impeachment, which is Section 188. The State House of Assembly can impeach a governor based on allegations of gross misconduct. It requires a 2/3 majority of the House and a judicial panel investigation. Number two, through judicial ruling. A court of competent jurisdiction such as the Supreme Court, can nullify an election or declare a seat vacant due to legal infractions. Now, let me put it together in the simplest form so you understand what I'm talking about. The action of President Tinubu, is it constitutional? Who has the power? What was his action? He declared a state of emergency. Is it constitutional? Yes. Has he got the power? The president, with Council of State and the National Assembly, yes, with their approval, he has the power to declare a state of emergency. Stay with me and pay close attention. Stay with me. Now, on suspending a sitting governor, which is the second action taken by President Tinubu. The first action was declaring a state of emergency, which he has a constitutional power to do so upon approval of the Council of State and the National Assembly. Are you with me? Be patient with me. Listen carefully now. On suspending a sitting governor, is it constitutional? No. Only through impeachment or judicial process can a sitting governor be removed. Now, calm down, calm down. We are going to now view these two actions taken by the president. We're going to view it through three lenses. One will be through political standpoint, which is around power plays and alliances. The second lens will be through democratic principles, which is rule of law or rule of might. And the third lens will be analyzing it through through the Niger Delta dimension. The oil, the unrest, and the regional tensions. So be patient and pay close attention. First of all, I will be analyzing President Tinubu's action through the first lens, which is through political standpoint. Now, from a purely political standpoint, this move appears to be a high-stakes game of chess. I don't know if you have ever played chess before. With President Tinubu positioning himself as the grandmaster, the decision to suspend Governor Fubara and declare a state of emergency,
because if you don't talk Wike, the candidate will not know you are supporting him.
Loyalty,
so the only way the candidate will know you are supporting him, go to channels, go to Arise, go to AIT, and say Wike.
I see they see with you. He defend them Wike with your designer.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory remains a towering political
figure. But whether you like it or not, if we don't wear it, which state will wear?
Many may argue that Tinubu's actions serves Wike's interest. Removing
I told you we will do so many things
who has increasingly fallen out of favor with his former benefactor. Tinubu consolidating his alliance with Wike in anticipation of 2027 election for his second term? Or is he seeking to control Rivers State, bearing in mind that Rivers State is a key economic and strategic region? Either way, it's risk calculated political maneuvering, where personal and political interests might be driving decisions more than genuine concern for peace. Now, let's view it through the democratic principles, through the lens of democratic principles, which surrounds the rule of law or the rule by might. Now, from democratic lens, Tinubu's intervention raises fundamental concerns about the rule of law, federal overreach, and the sanctity of Nigeria's democratic institutions. Declaring a state of emergency and suspending an elected governor are actions that carry heavy constitutional weight. Is there evidence that due process was followed? Were the people of Rivers given a say in the fate of their elected leader? Democracy thrives
today
when leaders
that
respect
will carry
constitutional
the
processes
symbol of some persons,
and act
and it will
transparently.
be a cause
Unfortunately,
in
this is hardly the
People
case
should know that,
in Nigeria.
because
Citizens,
no matter how we've been fooled in this state,
non-existent.
it has gotten to a point
They don't exist
where the
when it comes
states
to
have
decision
decided
making.
to
Sad,
take their destiny
but this is the
by
reality.
their hands.
The opposition has argued that there are states with greater security challenges, states such as
I don't subscribe
Zamfara,
to violence,
Kaduna, Plateau,
when the
or
time
even
comes
Imo
for
State,
us
where
to
there
take
has
a
been
decision,
consistent killing,
I will lead the cause for that
by
decision.
the unknown gunmen. Yet, they have not been subjected to such drastic measures.
Let me say
Then
it
why
again.
Rivers? Could
And let me
this
say it again.
be a
I'm
signal
not scared
or
of
a
anything.
dangerous president?
The
The
worst that will
danger
happen
in
is
any
me to
or
leave the office,
every
not.
democratic
Am I leaving
nation
the earth?
is setting a
Is it
very
going to stop me from
dangerous
existing?
precedent where federal might
So I'm
is
not even bothered
used
about that. But the right
selectively
thing
to consistently
must be done
suppress
and
political
must be said
rivals under the
when
guise
the
of
opportunity is given to us.
maintaining order.
So let me thank
In other
everyone.
words, there is
More
no
especially
democratic
our youth.
leadership. It is more
Be strong.
authoritarian because you cannot call government ruled
don't
without
be my
any check or balances
I
by the
assure you,
opposition or
at
by
the
their
right time,
citizens. You cannot call
you will
that
get the instruction.
democracy or a democratic leadership style. Also, remember that such actions risk undermining democracy and could fuel public or international distrust in government intentions. It begs so many questions. Are we practicing democracy in Nigeria? Or has Nigeria completely descended into authoritarian control, masked as national interest, wearing the mask of national interest, but internally they are practicing authoritarian leadership style? Is that the case now in Nigeria? While you are pondering on that question, let's view it under the third lens, which is the Niger Delta dimension, which include the oil, the unrest, and the regional tensions. Rivers State is not just any state, as you are aware. It's a core part of the Niger Delta. It is home to Nigeria's oil wealth, and historically, it's the most volatile in politics. This region has long been a flashpoint for militancy, agitation for resource control, and environmental activisms. Any political instability in Rivers State has direct economic consequences for the whole of Nigeria. Fubara's suspension could inflame old wounds, reports of pipeline explosions here and there, underreported unrest, even threats by Niger Delta groups to resist federal interference. It might even suggest a volatile mix. There is a genuine fear that the Niger Delta might at some point react due to feeling of being marginalized or provoked, or even seeing it as an opportunity for a resurgence of militancy. If any of these happen, oil production could be disrupted. And if this happens, it will lead to a very serious, struggling economy. Well, this is up to you. Think about it. Which of these lenses do you rather prefer in terms of why Tinubu has actually taken such drastic actions? Was Tinubu's move intended to prevent unrest, as he said, or did it inadvertently light the fuse? Is the federal government ready to address the underlying grievances of the Niger Delta, or is this just a short-term power grab that could backfire within the long run? To give my final thoughts. Which way, Nigeria? Well, looking through these three lenses, one thing becomes clear. Nigeria is definitely at a crossroads. Whether Tinubu's intervention is seen as a master stroke of political genius, a blow to democratic governance, or a trigger for regional unrest, one thing is certain, and the rest lies. The implications are profound. So, the real question remains, which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Are we moving towards unity and stability, or are we risking greater division and instability? Will there ever be one Nigeria, united in peace and harmony? Will there ever be a new Nigeria where peace, unity, and progress reign supreme? Thank you for watching. And as always, I remain your girl, Lady Rain. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. And I will be updating you as the event unfolds. I love Nigeria. And I pray for a better, united Nigeria one day. One day.